Ci troviamo nella sponda nord.
Today we have come to the north shore of the Sea of Galilee, as it is called especially in the Synoptic Gospels, although Luke, who knew the Mediterranean Sea very well, called it a lake. He called it the Lake of Gennesaret, the Lake of Kinneret, a Hebrew word that means harp, because if we observe it from above, we see that it is in the form or the shape of a harp. In this lake, Jesus formed his disciples. After he moved to Capernaum, to Peter's house, he lived and spent the days with his disciples, sailing on the lake and moving from one village to another, preaching, healing, and setting people free. In other words, showing God's presence, already with us, in Jesus through signs. Luke tells us that one day Jesus came to the lake's shore to Ginosar, a little south from where we are today. And Peter and some others also arrived after having spent a night fishing, but without having caught anything. So Peter arrived and began to wash the nets. He was surely absorbed by his sentiments of failure and sadness, and saw Jesus surrounded by a great crowd. Jesus already had a name and was well known, and in fact, not long before he had healed Peter's mother-in-law in Capernaum. But Peter wasn't interested. So what happened? Jesus got into the boat and sat down, and invited Peter to move away a little from the shore, so that Jesus could have better conditions in order to preach to the people. We can read together directly from the Gospel of Luke chapter 5, verses 4 to 6. After he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water, and lower your nets for a catch." Simon said in reply, "Master, we have worked hard all night, and have caught nothing. But at your command I will lower the nets." When they had done this, they caught a great number of fish, and their nets were tearing. So what happened? When Jesus was finished preaching, we do not know what he spoke about. Probably Jesus invited the people to trust in God and in the Master, and immediately afterwards moved on to the application. And he made a challenge. Firstly to Peter. There are two imperatives here. He said, "Put out into deep water and lower your nets." He said it directly to Peter, in the second person singular. We remember that he had passed the entire night without having caught anything, and this is what they did. Peter did it. He obeyed. Here, Peter's answer is truly emblematic, because he uses the word but, an adversative particle, that makes all the difference. Just imagine for a moment what went through Peter's mind. He probably said to himself, "But he doesn't know anything about fishing or about fish. However, this master healed my mother-in-law, and I am a witness. He is the son of a carpenter from Nazareth, but nobody has ever taught with such authority as this man." This but, the trust that was based on what Jesus had proclaimed. At the end he said, "Lord, we are experts. I may be the most expert here on the lake, but I have been fishing all night and I haven't caught anything. But at your command I will lower the nets." This step forward and this trustful adhesion to Jesus' word makes the difference and creates the miracle. They caught such a large quantity of fish that they had to ask for help from the other boats. Otherwise, the nets would have torn. This is the miracle, this trust, this change. Also for us in our ministry and in our work, we are called to grow in trust in God. The steps that are needed are these: to allow Jesus to enter into our activity, our boat, our ministry, and allow his word to enter into us, so that we may grow in trustful faith, and then to act. It's not enough to listen only to the word on Sunday, but we must also act. If we want to see the miracle, we have to believe in it. If the Lord asks us to take a step, we must take it so that we will be witnesses. Just like Peter, who from that moment on began to follow Jesus and recognized him as the Master and his Lord. With this prayer, for total trust and a leap of quality in our activity, I leave you until the next time from the Sea of Galilee.